So it is day 6 of using a flip phone for 30 days.
Hello, it is day 8 as it's day 13 of the flip phone.
Currently, it is day 15 when I'm filming this section. Hello, I'm Sydney. Welcome to my Flock and Squawk. Today I'm going to be talking about why I'm using a flip phone for 30 days. So a little bit of background on me. I'm 22, almost 23, and I've been using a cell phone since age 9. My very first phone was actually a flip phone, but I haven't used a flip phone or style phone in probably 10 or so years. So it's been a long time, and honestly, there are a few things that have started to weigh on me currently about my smartphone. I have been using an iPhone 6S for quite a while, but for September, I've decided to use a flip phone. If you want to read more about it, I have it over on my blog, flockandsquawk.com. But here are my sort of reasons as to why I chose to use a flip phone. So one of the big reasons why I've chosen to switch to a flip phone is simple. I have been spending about 3 hours a day on my smartphone, using it mostly as a distraction as opposed to a tool. My highest amount of usage was on Instagram, and if you follow my Instagram, I don't post that often, but I would browse it constantly throughout the day. To me, a phone is a tool, and I shouldn't be using my tool to distract myself and not actually be productive. And then another reason, like I said, being productive. I want to be productive and enjoy in the moment my life and not just be enjoying someone else's pictures of their life or their videos of their life. I don't want to just live and compare myself and my productivity to spending 3 hours a day sort of checking the highlight reel of other people's lives. So those are the big reasons why I've chosen to do 30 days of a flip phone. So for this challenge, I've given myself a couple of rules. My first rule is that I am still allowed to use my iPhone as a mini tablet only in the morning and at night, never in bed. So I'm saying this in part because it is still useful and enjoyable to me to take a peek on social media, post, update things, that sort of thing. I still want to be able to have some enjoyment out of checking social media because it is enjoyable, but I just don't want it to be a permeating thing throughout my day. My second rule, going along with the first, is that I'm not allowed to use it in my workstation. I usually bring my phone to my work spot because I need my phone in order to call or if I get a message from one of my coworkers. I've been working at home for over a year now with the pandemic, and I just need to be able to not only connect with my coworkers, but if there's something that comes up, I need to be able to take a phone call, I need to be able to text someone. And then my third rule is sort of like building off of that first rule once again. I am allowed to access social media. I am allowing myself to access social media. My phone was or is the main access point to my social media. I don't have it on my iPad, I don't have it on my laptop. So I'm still allowing myself to go through and log in on my laptop, but I'm not going to say no to social media. That's not what this is about. It's just about lessening my ability to access it so I can be more productive. So I'm not just picking it up and looking at it every 15, 30 minutes. So those are my sort of self-imposed rules. So as I was thinking about using a flip phone for 30 days and what that might mean for me, I sort of thought of the pros and cons. The big pros for using a flip phone for me was that I was prioritizing productivity over distraction because my phone would be limited to calling and texting. A smaller size phone might be a better fit in my life If you saw, I did post a video on how it fits into different pant pockets. A sense of nostalgia. Like I said, I got a phone at the age of about 9, and I haven't used a flip phone for many years, so it is a little bit of a nostalgia for me. And then 4, a flip phone still has the same capacity to call and text as an iPhone does. It's a little bit different, but I still have that connectivity for work and for calling my friends and family as needed, as well as the safety factor of I can call in an emergency. So then let's get into the cons that I thought about when I was deciding to take on this flip phone challenge. The first con was that commitment is scary. I was kind of worried about how committing to a flip phone will feel. Because I'm so used to my iPhone, I was worried about how it would make me feel committing to a new phone. Because I like my iPhone. I don't find anything really wrong with it other than how much time I've spent on it. The next big thing, which actually feels like the largest part of it for me now, being 15 days in, is that I can't stream music specifically into my vehicles without having my streaming apps, and my flip phone does not support apps. So I don't have any music that I can stream in to my vehicles. Facebook Messenger I use regularly, so that was a kind of like an iffy con, where I can just redirect people, don't message me on Facebook Messenger if you want a text-like response. If you want me more immediately, text me. So that's sort of like a half con, is just training other people to contact you via text again instead of just Messenger. And then finally, one of my cons was access to Google Maps. Now the phone that I got, an LG Classic Flip, I can Google and use the internet, but it's just highly inconvenient for Google Maps if I needed it. Granted, it's 15 days in and I haven't needed it, but that, and also I wanted that sort of distance and being difficult to access things for social media. So Google Maps has kind of been something, it's not something I use regularly to begin with, but when you need it, I at least have a difficult time getting to it, but I can still use it. That's sort of the reasoning why I've gone into this 30-day challenge. So there you have it. That is sort of my explanation of the 30 days. And seeing as it's day 15, I'm going to get straight into the little vlog clips that I've been taking that I previewed at the beginning, as well as any ones that I make from this point out. And then finally at the very end, I will do a final thoughts and feelings after the 30 days. So stay tuned or just click ahead.
So it is day 6 of using a flip phone for 30 days, and so far there hasn't been much to complain about. The biggest complaint that I've had so far is using the actual radio in my car instead of streaming music. I much prefer my normal music that I stream in than what plays on the radio. But it's not a huge deal, it's just I prefer my music. And then the other thing is that within the first 3 days I started developing thumb pain from texting, which I don't remember ever having before, but it's not a big deal. It's just maybe I'm getting used to using real button keys again, and also the fact that the phone fits well in my hand, but to press the keys most towards my palm when I'm holding the phone is a little uncomfortable. It's like that extended reach. But overall, not too bad. I've gotten used to T9 texting again for the most part. The predictive text is better than what I remember, but still not great. So, filming this on my flip phone. I did a spin bike workout at home and then just a little walk around the neighborhood now, and Just taking a little pause before I head back home. So, see you later, alligator.
Hello, it is day 8 of my 30 days with a flip phone. I'm filming on it again today, and I have a kitten in my lap. This is Radar. So nothing really new to update. It's just using it. It doesn't really bother me that much. I checked on my iPhone my screen time because I'm still allowing myself to use it in the morning and at night, and if I get a Facebook message that is somewhat important. And it's down like 86% since I last used it. So I think it's quite a bit of progress if I'm only using it like 20 minutes a day as opposed to like 3 hours. So just keep you posted. Here is what the screenshot looks like of my week so far on my iPhone's tracking of my usage. And honestly, it doesn't really bother me that much. I feel like it's not really even a challenge at this point. So keep checking in throughout my 30 days. As it's day 13 of the flip phone. So no real big updates. I had to go through and actually redo all of my passwords for like Facebook and Instagram in order to check in on them, not using my apps. So that was it. You know, no real big updates so far.
So it is day 21 with my flip phone, and it hasn't been very eventful. Honestly, there hasn't been much going on. I had a dentist appointment recently, and for making the next appointment, I just got a physical card instead of putting it into my phone on the spot. Mostly because it's difficult for me to enter in the dates fast enough as I'm making the plans right then and there. So I have a spare card that I can put on the fridge with my next dentist appointment. And also now that I have the leisure time I can just enter it in on my own. If the camera bumps at all, it's because Margaret's rubbing her face in the tripod. And recently I went on a hike with my mom, and normally I would not think much about taking my camera because my iPhone takes decent enough photos, but this time I made sure that I took my dedicated camera that I love to use, my Canon Rebel. Normally I might just take my iPhone if it's a hike, but this time I took my Canon. It wasn't a very strenuous hike, and it was great. I enjoyed getting out there and taking photos with my actual camera. And I did take one photo on the flip phone that I will insert. So it's not, terrible on the flip phone. It's just not nearly as good as my dedicated camera photos like this one. So with that being said, there hasn't been any hindrance. There have been a few times where I'm very grateful that I do have a flip phone. Recently there was an accident that blocked the road for several hours, and so I was able to call not only my mom but my boss and let them know that I wasn't going to be able to make it home. I do work from home, so that's why I had to call my boss and let her know that I wasn't able to make it back home where all my paperwork and everything is, and also let my mom know that since she was home, not to expect me until later due to the accident. So instead I went on my own little adventure. But overall, it's been pretty nice. I'm sure that my iPhone is very lonely because I have let it go dead a couple times now. And then it's like, oh, I should probably put it on the charger. And once it's charged, I unplug it, and then I just don't end up thinking about it or touching it. So I'm sure that it is building up notifications for when I do eventually look at it again. But for now, it's pretty good. No big issues over here. And here's my boy. This is Eslin. That's all for now.
Hello, it is day 28 of my flip phone journey, and it just recently occurred to me that I could show you not only the phone that I have online, but also the fact that I could probably look up and see what my original flip phone was and its attributes. So we are going to take a peek at not only my current flip phone, but also try and find my original flip phone online through archive.org or the online website Archiver. So let's get into it. So here is my current flip phone. It is through Straight Talk. It is the LG Classic Flip, like I might have mentioned earlier. But see, I just have very basic gray flip phone. That's what it looks like. Basic keypad. That's what the menu looks like. Nothing really fancy. And as you can see, it's only like $30. But there it is again. It is effortless simplicity according to Straight Talk. And yeah, it definitely fits my lifestyle of just needing calling and text for the most part. But as you can see, it's 4.25 by 2.17, and then the display is only 2.8 inch with a very, very small external display. But for talk time, 6 hours is really good. Of course, it doesn't really have much else to do. And then, yeah, it has it over here again, but you know, only 8 gigs memory, super light. And then, like I mentioned, it does have Bluetooth, so I can connect it to things. I haven't used the Bluetooth other than, I have connected it to Wi-Fi, but not necessarily like headphones. And then it is hearing aid compatible. So yeah, I just got the phone, the charger, the activation card, which basically I entered in to tell my current Straight Talk account that I was moving to this phone instead of using my iPhone still. But if you buy this outright and you don't have a Straight Talk account, then you also need to buy an additional service card. The activation card's not going to give you any service or benefit to having this phone. It's just like the serial number on a card. And then, yeah, this is my current phone. And it has been for the last 28 days. But let's just click over to the Internet Archive Wayback Machine, and let's try and find my current phone. We're gonna try Walmart.com, because I believe my Straight Talk phone we either got at Walmart, or not my Straight Talk phone, my original cell phone was either Walmart or Target. And I think that we should be good looking in 2009 for my cell phone, my very first cell phone, because I believe that I got it probably 2008, 2009. Maybe a little earlier than that, but I'm just gonna, let's go for one with a really big dot. How about August? August 6th, 2009. Now I don't really remember what time of year I got my first phone. I would assume that it was probably right around school starting, maybe like August, just before school starts here. And I only think that because one of the first times that I went over to a friend's house after getting my new phone was that I lost it in a field, and we wouldn't be playing outside if it was that cold. So probably early fall, kind of similar time to this one. So cell phone would be electronics, cell phones. Now I believe that it is called just like a Samsung Smooth, but we'll just take a peek. It was a prepaid phone through Verizon. Okay, so
we're going to look at all prepaid cellular. An iPhone 3GS, oof. So let's see all. So I don't know why it didn't occur to me not to not look at this sooner. I use the Wayback Machine semi-often, not like a crazy amount, but often enough that I feel like it should have occurred to me a little sooner. But here we go. Prepaid cell phones. And what do you know? Here it is. So, let's see. So I had a Samsung Smooth U350 prepaid wireless phone with Bluetooth Verizon. So I don't really remember Bluetooth being a part of the equation, but I don't think that I really knew what Bluetooth was when I had my first phone, so. But 1998. So actually, my very first cell phone was about the same price, or cheaper even, than my current LG Classic Flip through Straight Talk. So let's look at some of the details. Pay as you go, yeah, that I remembered. Internet access. So this is deceiving from a 2021 perspective. So by internet access, it didn't mean that I could connect to Wi-Fi. Like the LG Classic Flip, I can connect to Wi-Fi. I connected it to my home Wi-Fi when I got it, set it up. Internet access with this phone, that my original flip phone, was through your carrier. You used minutes to look at the internet. So, well, technically, yes, you can access the internet. You were paying whatever minutes to use the internet. It wasn't the Wi-Fi like my LG Classic Flip can. So, VGA quality camera. I don't really know what quality that means, but I do imagine that it was worse than the current LG Classic Flip, or about the same. Yes, it had speakerphone, Bluetooth. Like I said, I don't remember using Bluetooth. I don't remember Bluetooth even being a thing back then, honestly. But like, I was pretty late to the game with technology as a kid, even though I had a flip phone so young. Don't really remember how many minutes or standby, but I did know that my plan that was prepaid, obviously, I had unlimited texting to other Verizon cell phones. I had to pay with minutes to text any AT&T or anyone else that was non-Verizon, which was honestly one of the reasons why I ended up changing to Straight Talk later on instead of sticking with a Verizon phone. So, text messaging, yeah. Multimedia messaging, yes. I definitely sent pictures, but I don't really remember using group messaging at all. I might have. Hands-free speakerphone, I don't think I ever really called that much to use hands-free speakerphone. Advanced speech recognition, I honestly have no recollection of ever using the speech recognition, whatever. And then instant messaging, I feel like that's pretty much text messaging in my book. But let's see, the product 16.5 by 9.0 by 13.0. So that's the inches. That doesn't sound right for the phone itself, but, and yeah, it just basically came with a charger. So I think I got my cell phone at probably like age 9 or so. I was in the 4th grade. I remember that I was specifically in the 4th grade and not 5th grade because my childhood friend AJ came and started school with us in the 4th grade. And for me, I didn't have a cell phone until I met AJ, and then AJ, being friends with her, she had a phone. She had moved to where she had moved, and then she had gotten a phone from her parents to keep in contact with her old friends. And so she had a phone in school, and then I have divorced parents, and so I was like, hey, I would like a phone to talk to my friends. I would like a phone to be able to talk to you guys when I'm with the other parent. You know, just sort of a phone is necessary for my life. It wasn't. My older brother had a phone, and so that also played into it of like, he gets a phone, but I don't. So, looking back on it, I feel like I was way too young to have a phone. But at the time, I really enjoyed having a phone, being able to talk to friends no matter what, no matter where I was. I could talk to my friends, I could talk to my mom, so on and so forth. So, yeah, and it's kind of an interesting look back to try and see what my original phone was. So, how about we just look up Classic Smooth and look at images. So this was my original, very first flip phone. So, yeah, and my brother and I actually had the same exact phone. This LG Smooth, same plan, same everything. And I remember you could click the camera button that was on here, and then have the phone closed, click the camera button, and take a selfie using this little screen. But my brother got his first, and so we had the same color of it. It wasn't like I had the blue one, he had the black one. So I actually had put like little flower nail stickers on here. So mine had little flowers. But yeah, it's kind of like a blast from the past, looking at my old cell phone. I still kept this phone after I switched to a different phone, and the only reason I don't still probably have it is because my brother lost or somehow destroyed his phone, which is like no big surprise because he is not that great with electronics, like keeping his phone safe, or at least he wasn't at the time. And so I gave him my old phone as like a hand-me-down for now, and he left it on the bus. So that's probably the only reason why I don't still have it, because I have my other phones for the most part. So that was a brief look at my old cell phones. I hope you enjoyed. There hasn't really been a big issue with using a flip phone currently. Now that I'm at like day 28 and I only have a couple more days left, I'm still grappling on whether or not I should switch back to my iPhone. I don't know, because the flip phone honestly works well for me. There isn't any big issues. There hasn't, like, all the issues that I've had have been minor in comparison to some things. Like, in the grand scheme of things, a flip phone doesn't dramatically change my life. But I'll save those final thoughts for my wrap-up.
And so we have come to the end of my 30 days, and I have done a full 30 days with a flip phone. Honestly, I really enjoyed the experience. I quite like having a flip phone. It suited all of my needs, and I didn't feel left out or anything by not having quick access to social media, which was something that I was looking to limit anyway. And after probably like the first week, I stopped using my iPhone as a tablet entirely, and I rarely checked my social media. So I would say that I definitely hit the goal of more productivity over distraction, and I definitely limited and pretty much erased most of my social media usage. Now, with that being said, I have been really conflicted about going back to my iPhone. But I decided that I would go through my iPhone settings and just limit things, setting it to grayscale, put time limits, and other limiting factors on my usage for social media and going back to my iPhone.
However, I do think that if I feel like I'm using my iPhone again too much, that I will probably go back to the flip phone for a while. I also think that the flip phone would be or will be perfect if there is a power outage, because the battery life is fantastic and I can still do emergency calling and texting if needed. And I also think that it would be good for if I were going out on a hike again or camping, where I would want a cell phone, but I don't need to have access to social media and all of that. Plus, the flip phone, of course, is going to be more of a rugged design. It is easier or it takes a fall easier. So if I do drop my phone while I'm hiking or camping, that wouldn't be an issue. Not to mention the battery life again. So overall, I loved my 30 days with the flip phone. I really, really enjoyed it. And even though I'm going back to my iPhone for now, I definitely see myself returning to the flip phone frequently, or doing another 30 days with a flip phone, or, sort of just alternating back and forth as my needs evolve or change. So with that being said, I really enjoyed my 30 days, and I hope that you give it a try too and let me know what you think. So you can find me at flockandsquawk.com and flock_squawk over on Instagram, although it has been pretty neglected the last month. So thank you for watching.